UCF transfer Chasen Johnson, Chasen Johnson. I think it's Chasen Johnson. I apologize if that's wrong. Commits to USC. Zach, listen, we can talk about how this is a big commitment for USC, and I think it is. But overall, like the thing I want to talk about more than anything with USC is just how on fire they are right now with everything. I made the comment on
Hmm.
Twitter about watching out for USC. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or not. I have them right about the middle of my power rankings because I just don't know what to do with them. I think
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley has shown he's a guy that can get a team to the playoffs, but he did that at Oklahoma. He almost did that his first year at USC. You could say he does a much better job of doing that when he has other people's players. I think that I don't really like doing that to a coach very much, but I can see where that would come from fans talking about USC. But if you ask me, Chad Bowden, he's basically taking care of everything recruiting wise and transfer portal wise and bringing in the right players and the roster construction. Like, obviously, Lincoln Riley is involved in this too, but it feels like Chad Bowden has just kind of become the man to do everything for USC behind the scenes right now. And all Lincoln Riley has to do is basically coach the offense and coach in the games. And this is going to be a fine tuned machine. So, I mean, do you feel like I feel where like USC watch out for them moving forward, or are you like if this is the year like they're going to be really good, top five in the Big Ten this year? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, to backtrack a little bit, I think we were both on the same page that when Chad Bowden was hired, and there was a lot of talk about how they feel great and how they're coming, we were like, guys, chill. You guys need to do something before we crown you. I'll just say this. They're no longer talking with their words, but with their actions. And it's starting with recruiting, with the transfer portal, obviously getting Danton Lynn, a defensive coordinator. I think this year is an improvement. I don't think we're talking about playoff run yet.
Hmm.
But I think in a year or two, I think we're talking about not just playoff run, but competing with Oregon as the West Coast presence in the Big Ten.
Yeah, yeah. I think as far as I'm concerned, like USC, it's just a matter of time before they start becoming a top five team in the Big Ten. I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's next year. But to me, it's going to start happening at some point as long as Lincoln Riley is still a competent coach, which I believe he is, and he's going to have the talent and everything there. So, friend of the show, Juck, just obviously just brought him up earlier. He says, I have SC at 5 in my Big Ten power rating. Honestly, like I can't
Yep.
argue with it. I watched Juck's show where he put out his top 25, which, by the way, if you guys like Juck's content, go watch his top 25. It didn't get watched by very many people, and he worked really, really hard on it. So help the guy out. I mean, when you work really hard on a
Mm-hmm.
podcast, you want people to watch it. But he had USC up there, and I didn't think he was going to have him up there, and he did. And I mean, I can't really argue with it. Like I said, Lincoln Riley is a coach who has brought teams to the playoffs. He's done a really good job with
Yep.
quarterbacks. To me, a lot of this hinges on Jada Mayava. Is just not all of it. I think sometimes we overvalue the quarterback. But if Jada Mayava can be a consistently good player that doesn't turn the ball over, this team can be really good. But if we see what we saw last year with Jada Mayava, where he turns the ball over a lot, he can move the team down the field, that's just going to be one more hindrance on him.
Yep. Yeah, I think I feel like we've gotten to a point where we have started undervaluing Lincoln Riley because and for in some respects good for good reason because I think Lincoln Riley was kind of seen as like the wonder kid, and the past 2 years he has deservedly taken a lot of hits and his reputation has taken a lot of hits. But let's not forget, like he still is a good coach. He still can coach quarterbacks. He can still coach offense, and he's getting everything right around him structurally. I think he does have the right defensive coordinator now. He does have the right general manager. And if Maava can be the quarterback that he wants him to be, I mean, how many games would they have won if Miller Moss, wasn't, didn't make the game, the back-breaking decision, or knew how to check at the line, or knew how to navigate the pocket. They probably beat Notre Dame if Maava doesn't turn the ball over. And I know that's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, but the reality is they weren't that far away from being a 9 or 10 win team a year ago.
PSU Jim says, has USC fixed its D? The issue with Riley has always been the D. I mean, the issue with Riley and the D was mainly because of what's his name, defensive coordinator they had.
The Grinch.
Yeah, the Grinch. But yes, you are correct, PSU Jim, and even in Oklahoma, he had some of those issues as well. So, but it obviously was elevated with Alex Grinch that that was there.
Elevated.
I believe in,
Elevated. Yeah. Okay.
I believe in D'Anton Lynn. I think that he got that secondary working really well last year. And speaking as somebody who went through a major defensive change, right? Like, obviously, I watch a lot of Ohio State football. Jim Knowles came in and, the defense was better his first year, but it still wasn't amazing. USC's defense was better last year, but it still wasn't amazing. This is D'Anton Lynn's prove it year at this point, right?
Mhm.
Jim Knowles proved it in his second year, and then now people are regarding Jim Knowles as the best defensive coordinator. No, this is 2 years later, but people are regarding him as the best defensive coordinator in college football, which he had the best defense in college football last year, and they just won a national championship. So I don't know if I can argue with that. However, I think if I'm going to be somebody that says Jim Knowles could make that switch after years at Oklahoma State, I think D'Anton Lynn can make that switch after years at UCLA as well. So PSU Jim, I agree with you. We got to look out for that defense, but I just trust D'Anton Lynn. Am I crazy for that, Zach?
No. They were better a year. They were better last year. They were more sound. The problem is just that they weren't they didn't have the talent.
For sure.
Yeah. Juck, thank you, man.
Yeah. Huge thank to Juck. Says hit the like button, friends. Appreciate it, Juck. Yes, everybody hit the like button. You don't have to super chat $10 to hit the like button, but Juck did. I don't know if he had a misclick there. I'm just joking. No, we appreciate it, Juck. Thank you so much for the support and the contributions there. Means a lot to us.
Yeah.
And yes, hit the like button. So we're actually going to be mentioning Juck later on. So it feels like Juck is basically like our third co-host tonight.
I'd say, should we? I don't know if I have the authority to ask this, but maybe Juck should come on our show on Tuesday to talk about top 25 if he's free.
Yeah, if he wants to.
Juck, if you're free, I've never done a show with you. You should come on.
Yeah, Juck's great. I would love to have Juck on once again. He did an awesome job on the recruiting show. If you guys didn't watch the state of Big Ten recruiting, Juck, I mean, he's always the man. He wasn't just the man then. He's always the man.